Sheila McNaughton loves living in St. Petersburg, Florida. She also loves helping other people make the Sunshine City their home too.
I'm a real estate agent, and so I spend a lot of time in my car driving. We're in my office right now in St. Petersburg, but I spend my spare time, if I can, I do a lot of writing, and I do a lot of reading, and I do a lot of crafts. I work on beadwork, kind of a junk artist, actually, and so people give me their extra junk broken things, and I make them into wall hangings and whatever.
But when what could be called a freak accident happened, Sheila began experiencing unpleasant symptoms and intense pain.
The first time I had the problem with all of this was I was in a grocery store and they dropped a table on my head. It really hurt and I had a lot of problems. It was just a big plastic table, but they knocked it off the top shelf where they have all the groceries, and it landed on my head and pushed my head to the side. At first, I thought I was going to be okay, but as the weeks went on, it was just really, really painful. I was having tingling all the way down my arm. I couldn't sleep at night because of that. I couldn't turn my head to drive because it hurt so much. I went to chiropractor. I had massage therapy. Nothing really was seeming to make the difference. I was just still in pain all the time.
Though the conservative treatments were proving to be unsuccessful in treating her ailments, she was still reluctant to undergo surgery. After some encouragement from her husband, John, a former Bonati patient, she decided to schedule a visit.
I was afraid to have surgery. And my husband, John, had been to Dr. Bonati several years before, and he kept telling me, this will work for you. It just hurt too much. And he finally convinced me that because it helped him so much, he knew it would work for me. And we drove up to Bonati's office, and it was wonderful. They did a lot to relieve my fear of, oh my God, I don't want to have surgery. I felt so much more comfortable after the very first visit in his office. And when I'd gone with John, it was different. I was the wife taking care of my husband. This was me going in for me, so it was a totally different experience. I mean, I felt very comfortable with him in their care, so that did help when I knew I was going to go through this myself.
The 11-acre Bonati Spine Institute campus offers all the necessary services, including clinical, imaging, surgical, and post-operative departments in one location, so a patient will never have to visit another facility to begin or complete their medical care.
When we first did go to Bonati's office, I felt like everybody was wanting to hear what we had to say, that the doctor took a lot of time talking to me. He did explain very quickly and easily and showing, this is where you're hurting, correct? And this is where you're hurting. So it was easy to understand because my looking at those pictures, I couldn't tell anything at all. But he was able to explain it very easily so that John and I both felt comfortable. They had explained that I would be awake enough so that I would be able to tell them if there was any issues going on. So that if I felt something in my shoulder, I would say shoulder, if I felt something in my arm. And I was concerned about that because I didn't want to be awake during a surgery. And it was not bad. I was really expecting it to be kind of a scarier situation, but it wasn't. And throughout the procedure, someone was always talking to me saying, you're doing really good, Sheila. This is great. You're doing just fine. If I did start to be a little concerned, it calmed me down. And they were just it wasn't as frightening as I thought it would be. I mean, it really wasn't. When we scheduled the surgery, we spent the night at the hotel in the area, went back the next morning. Everything was fine. And I was able to go back to work within a couple of days. But I remember feeling good and not feeling, a lot of pain or a lot of discomfort from where the surgery had been done.
Because of this targeted approach, the recovery process is a fraction of that of traditional open back surgeries performed at other facilities.
Actually, the recovery was great. I mean, I really immediately felt the difference and was able to do things that I had not been able to do prior to the surgeries.
Since Sheila's third and final procedure, she has full use of her neck, arms, and hands, returning to her everyday activities without hesitation.
Probably one of the biggest things that I was limited to doing prior to the surgery was just general motions of going to the grocery store and picking up the grocery bags and putting them in the car. It would have to be one bag at a time, but I could never pick them up with my right hand. It was always with my left hand. I write a lot, and because I do a lot of crafts and junk art, I really couldn't use my hand as much. It would hurt, just not function the way it was supposed to. So once I had the surgeries, I was able to drive much better because I could certainly turn my head to see what the traffic was doing. And I was able to spend longer times at my work table and doing projects that I wanted to do. And sleeping is a huge difference because I couldn't get a full night's sleep before. And now that's not an issue.
Whether you're a patient or caregiver, all of those who walk through the Bonati Spine Institute doors are treated with equal amounts of care, respect, and attention.
Having been a patient as well as the spouse of a patient, that whole waiting area, again, I think the whole feeling of you're welcomed and they want you to be comfortable, I think it makes a huge difference because being a patient, you've got a lot of people taking care of you. As the spouse or caregiver or loved one of a patient, it's a little scary on that end because you can't really do anything. You just have to kind of wait and see. So I think the way that they treat you as the spouse, caregiver, loved one is really good too because you're important. And I think you get that feeling when you're there, that they care about you and that if you need a cup of coffee or how can we help you so that you're not concerned because we're taking good care of your loved one. So overall, I think on both ends I've been on, it's a great experience. I've told a lot of people about the surgery that I had when I've talked to them about pain that they're saying my back hurts. I think the experience for me was so good that the pain relief was so incredible and the whole experience up there was so nice and pleasant and friendly that I recommend the Bonati Clinic to my friends. Once you sit down and talk to these people, you come away feeling that they do care, they know what they're doing, and the number of people who've had it done is incredible. And we actually know several people who've had it done. So whenever I talk about that, I say it's not just me, it's not just my husband, John, it's my sister-in-law, it's other friends that we know who've gone through the surgery and have been very pleased.